My name is Bryant, and I teach a class called Kinetic Meditation, and it's about self-expression. It's about finding your own movement. It's about showcasing your creative spark. It is my interpretation of an ecstatic dance practice that was created by a lady named Gabrielle Roth. And it has taught me so much. And today I want to share two lessons with you. Since we are all 406 creatives, I want to correlate the rhythms to the creative process. And two, I want to show you how to appreciate slowing down through movement, which is really a key to being sustainably creative. Before I talk anymore, I want to lead you through an exercise because I want to show you what I mean and not just tell you. So at this point, I'm going to ask everyone to stand up and spread out. We're not moving too much, but you're going to be. So take your right arm or your left arm. And we're going to start in flow. So flowing is nice and it's simple and it's easy. There's no pressure. You don't need to rush. You're just listening to how your body feels, how you want to move. You don't need to rush, because when you get to the point that you want to, you can pick up quick. And this is when we go into staccato. So just choppy, sharp movements. It's quick. Where before you were flowing, nice, easy, one movement, this is just moving. It's like doing karate, like you can move it in any way, with your elbow, your hand. So you're really much more dynamic. And then just when you start to shake, just bring it together and just let it go. So you kind of mix the flowing of this with the sharpness of staccato, and you just get to shake. And there, come back. And now really move your arm exactly how you want to. This is lyrical. This is telling your story. The reason why you let the flow, you listen, and then you express, and then you just let it go. And now that you really feel your arm, how does it want to move? What story does it want to tell? Every day you use your arm so much just to do stuff. You don't really let it just express itself. So here's that time. Now I want you to pick a side, and I just want you to stretch, and I want you to hold it. And now I want you to reach up. And now I want you to bring your arms together, and just hold them out there. And notice, do you feel something different in the arm that you moved? And then it might feel a little tired, like you feel heavy. So we're going to stop moving and keep your arm down. And that you might even be thankful that you could stop moving. Remember that. And now we're going to take our seats. In flowing, we learn to listen. In staccato, we learn to express. In chaos, we learn to trust. In lyrical, we learn to be. And in stillness, we learn to reflect. So what we just did in flow, remember, it was easy, it was fluid, it was one motion right into the next. There was no pressure. You were just moving how you wanted to move. When we get excited about a creative project, it's so easy to just want to run full steam. That's how we trip up. We don't need to be so fast. We can be patient, and we can listen, and we can learn what our body actually wants to say, what we really want to express. We can start to take the time to listen to the environment that we dance in or that the project takes place in. We could feel the energy of the characters that interact with us in our story. You just flow, and you start to feel when your energy rises. You take the time to really ground yourself in your feet, because when you're ready to express yourself, you can move quick into staccato, which is sharp rhythms, sharp, quick movements. It's like when you're doing any creative project. When you first start really running into it, you don't need to look at the whole picture. You could break it down into individual sections, quick movements that may feel disjointed, but together at some point will merge to form your story. And with the quick movements, the fun part about this is you're not afraid to make mistakes, because if you misstep, you're already on the next movement. There comes a point when you express yourself that you get past what you know. And this is really a point that's tough in any creative project, stepping into the unknown, because it could be so scary. But if you're creating something, You have to step into the unknown because it doesn't yet exist. But if you could stay in the unknown long enough, you realize the funny thing about the unknown is that it's only unknown for so long because it becomes familiar. And that's chaos. You are grounded in your feet from the first movement, and you mix it in with the sharpness of your expression. And you just trust that your body knows how it wants to move. You have to let go of fear and anxiety and just play in that unknown space so that you get comfortable with you. And when you reach that point that the uncomfortableness, the unfamiliarity becomes familiar, you find yourself in rhythm 4, which is lyrical. This is when you really tell your story. This is when you really get to express your voice. This is when you took control back over your body and you just moved exactly how you wanted to move. You knew how because you had flowed in the beginning to listen, and you learned to express yourself. And then you found the courage to leap into the unknown, and you find your story. The lyrical, like the other rhythms, are only part of the story. And I think we get a little lost here. For even when you accomplish your goal and you reach the pinnacle of where you're trying to get to, it's only part, and you can't stay there forever. And so at some point, we need to shift. And what we need to shift into is stillness. Because it's funny, when you're just moving, it's actually really easy when you're coasting on momentum. When you slow down your movement, you see how much more effort you actually have to put in to accomplish that. And you can be thankful. When we get the lyrical, when we reach that point that we thought we always wanted to get to, we want to stay there. But you don't want to tell the same story forever. You want to move on to something else. And it's so easy then, because you're at this point, that you want to just jump to the next point, to the next story, to the next lyrical. You can't. You worked so hard to get there. What you need to do is take time to slow down and reflect. Because in stillness, you learn to appreciate everything that you just did. It's so easy to want to look ahead or to look back at where we failed, where we may have misstepped, but if you got to this point in stillness that you can reflect, you can see that the challenges that were there in front of you, because there's always many in the creative process, were there to help challenge you and grow. And whatever you may have thought at the time, anger, resentment, if you take the time to be still, you can let that go. But if you just try and jump to the next thing, those angers will fester. That sadness, those missteps will dog you. But if you slow down, you have time to let that go. Because you are thankful for you. And you understand how much effort and energy you put into that given project. So you can be thankful for everything else. This is the real lesson. How important it is to be still. As an event producer, I've worked 60-hour weeks, I've worked 80-hour weeks, I've worked 100-hour weeks. And all of those times, I'd always wished that I had time to myself. But no matter how busy I was, I could actually find time for myself. Only when I had those down moments, all I thought about was, why am I not here? Why am I not further on this? That email was nagging me. But what I discovered with dance is that I can exhaust myself physically. And I can just dance into joy. And then, when I have a moment to be still, I appreciate it. I told you guys to remember how you felt with the arms. That one was tired. It was nice just to be able to put it by my side and relax. And that's what stillness has taught me in dance. And the main thing that we want to teach through Kinetic Meditation is we want to help you speed up, learn to express yourself in every way so that you can find the time when you slow down, you enjoy it. When I describe this creative process, I just did it as one whole. But we all know that life is a series of cycles. You have your highs, you have your lows, You have long, monotonous stretches in between. And that's where stillness comes in even more. That you can stop and pace yourself. Because life's going to happen when it's going to happen. And until that time, why not dance? Thank you.
Can you go back to that first slide and talk about those things? Like the other, like, are those correlative? The different, they are. Okay.
So, right in the middle, these are the rhythms: flowing, staccato, chaos, lyrical, stillness. So, Gabrielle Roth kind of taught it in different ways, and she taught like different theories and different subjects. And this is kind of my favorite, how I like to teach in class. It's based around your emotions. So what we really also teach besides stillness is dancing with your emotions. And so the idea is that flowing is the rhythm of the beat. It is your surface level emotion. So it was the first rhythm you encounter because you can't experience anything else until you get past your fear. So that's where we kind of go slow. So if you're anxious, it's easy to kind of guide one movement into the next. When your emotions are all open to you, the first thing that comes at you is anger. It's kind of your natural strength, so it gets to jump out fast. And so we go into staccato, so it's quick. This is a rhythm of anger. We can throw that anger out. And anger gives you space. It creates space. And that sadness, it's that emptiness, that void. And so we shift into chaos, we let go. And we let go in the rhythm of sadness. And we dance through that, and you find that that unknown space that was so sad actually gave you more room to grow. And that's when we find ourselves in Lyrical, which is the rhythm of joy. Here you want to be, because this is joy, this is what you work for. But even that it gets tired, and so it shifts and it becomes thankfulness, which is compassion, and that's when you shift into stillness. And that's where I talked about you having the time to reflect, so that you can let go of these things that you may have resented at the time, and you realize how much stronger they made you later on. This is also kind of goes, I haven't taught this way, but I actually had the idea that I want to try that. So it's just like we start in birth, so you kind of flow where you're easy. Childhood's kind of spastic, staccato. Puberty, kind of get it, but you're pretty confused. And then maturity, kind of look back, you understand how life works. And death and stillness. These two are just, I guess, kind of in the modality, but I don't know how to speak to those.
What is your class?
So we're teaching every other Sunday right now. It's 6:30 to 8. We teach inside Montana Valley Studio, which is inside the Birch Theater.
Is there a website where someone can go to sign up for your email list?
Yeah, there is, but I gotta redo it. But it's just, I haven't used it in a while. I think it's just Kinetic Meditation, right? Good. No, it's this dash. It's kinetic-meditation.com, or I think it's Bozeman kinetic-meditation.com. I'm going to redo my website. When I do, I will then know the name of it.
What kind of events do you work on, and what's your favorite type?
I've done a lot. I was a freelance event producer, and so my roles range. I've been creative director, I've been a logistics manager, I've been an on-site manager. Right now, I really love working on the Bozeman Film Festival, the BCN International Film Festival. Because I love my team, Jamie's on it, and it's just fun to do something here. Last year I was the lead production manager for the Big Sky PBR. I'm the production manager for Hatch. I've worked 6 New York marathons, 5 borough bike tours. I used to work all the Avon 39 walks to end breast cancer. I like more, well, I like real logistical events. Like I like the walks and the marathon because it's like a challenge, it's not a party. It's like I have 50,000 people for 4 hours, how do I store them? Or we have to move 4,000 people through the city. So I enjoy those. And then I like working with nonprofits more, I guess, where like when the event has more of a meaning than just being a commercial event.
Bryant, how do you apply these kind of theories and rhythms in your work? Like if you have an 80-hour work week, because I love all of these themes and concepts, and I'm just trying to think, you know, kind of practically, are you more just kind of noticing them as you're going through them, or can you take action with them?
The big thing for me, which is, like I said, I've learned so much really in stillness. I've been a freelancer for a number of years, and so I have peaks and I have valleys. And whereas like when I have a full-time job in events, like the kind of season just bleeds over. So you never really have time to reflect. And having been able to work so many various projects, but also having time in between them, it's given me time to really be able to think about what I learned. And I think that is the thing that has made me a talented event producer, is having had that time. And so applying the rhythms is kind of how I said, I learned I could listen a little longer. I don't need to rush when I start a project. I now have the skill and know-how of how to get it done, and I better understand the timeline, so I can appreciate it. So I flow in the beginning, and then with an event, it's really a puzzle. Like, I'm building what some guy imagined. People don't really understand how much work an event is. You know, it's just like, people just see a tent, but like, you know how many steps that tent took to get there? So I talked about Staccato, and it's like, it's quick, I'm not looking at the whole project. I know how to break it down. If I get this, then I can get this, then I can get this, and I know the order of it. And with any event, even if it's an event I've done before, there's always new challenges. You know, there's always something wrong, or something could go wrong. That's how you look at every event. I have to plan for what's going to happen with B and C. So even if the event is familiar, I still find myself in an unknown spot. But I really trust myself that I know how to do the project. And then times event producing really drive me crazy. Like I said, like I don't feel it's really appreciated the amount of effort. And it's like, you think of your experience, but like I'm live coding the situation. And that's how I look at it. I have to get people to act in a certain way to accomplish a certain goal while looking festive and making sure nothing goes wrong. And, but I love it. Like, when I'm actually doing that, and another thing I think of why I fell into event production is I start thinking ahead of time. Like, I make maps, I do stuff to help make this visual for me 3 months in advance. Where usually, like, I guess more bad habits is you put this off to the end, and at the end you build a book so you have something on site. But I make my stuff visual from the beginning, and I do it because I love it. So I find that time, like, when I'm really just making things up, it's fun. And with dance, and especially here, coming from New York to Montana, I've learned how to give myself space. Like 100-hour work weeks, yeah, I did that over winter break. But I don't have to out here. And so I can really separate myself, and I can get the things I need to get done, and then I can have a life. And that's part of appreciating stillness, because like I can take this breather, because it'll be more refreshed, and I know when I'm ready to work again, like I know exactly how to. So, I think it has really helped me, but I think it's kind of like naturally happened, and then the world's kind of merged, you know? I was doing this, and then I started teaching this, and I was like, oh, in hindsight, it's gotta make sense.
I was wondering if we could do another dance session.
The thing with dance, with any kind of meditation or any kind of self-healing, you don't always have to start or be in a good place. You might be sad, you might be angry, this is new, you might be anxious. So start there. Wherever you are with your dance is how we're going to dance. We're going to take that thought and we're going to send it through us. So just think wherever you are, and then start to shift your neck. So start to take whatever that thought was and shift it into movement. How does your neck want to feel? Tight, try one way, try the other. Is it loose? Try small circles, bigger circles. And then from there, you're going to send the energy from your head to your neck into your shoulders. And now try to move it up, go back, go forward, one, both, the other. How do they feel? How does the right side start to feel from your left side? Does one side feel tighter than the next? Now, try rolling one shoulder, try rolling the neck, try rolling the other shoulder, and then send that energy into your elbow. And now you have your elbows. Now you kind of have your appendages. You're starting to throw the energy away from just your center. And how, when you could move your elbow, does it change your shoulder? Does it make it looser? Does it make it tighter? How does that make your neck? And from there, we're going to shift our energy all the way out to our hands. Now you have a full wingspan. I like to think that when I dance too, I take in energy with my hands. So now you kind of have that magic. And wiggle your fingers, your wrists. Kind of what I say with your hand, like, you really ask so much of your hands. All day. All day, every day. But you don't, your hands just kind of let out any excess energy. So do it. Try sharper breath. If you want to just kind of flow. Sometimes it's flowy breaths, but start to match your breath. You know, your breath will give you energy. And what's really cool and important about your breath is that now start to move your hips. You know that feels? This might be uncomfortable. With breath, if you start to feel uncomfortable, and you just focus on your breath, you will be reminded that you are always there for you. And now, when you move your hips, how does that change your spine? How does that change your shoulders? Now try your knees and the other way down. You can start to change the height, play with how tall you are, how close to the ground you are. And as you move your knees, how does that affect your hips? How does that change your spine? How does that move your neck? Now send it all the way to the ground. Now you move your feet. Now you can start to just walk around and find some open space. It's easy in life sometimes to feel like you get stuck. But if you do, just move a little. When you start to move, you see there's always open space. And it's that much easier to just keep moving. All right, guys, thank you. So then in class we stop, and essentially we try to send the energy down to the ground with the rhythm to bring it back up. So it's like flowing is in your feet, staccato's in your heart, chaos in your mind, with lyrical up. So it's just like we're bringing the energy up. So in class, this is called the wave. We do 2 waves. I teach the first one, and Leah teaches the second one, and we have a drummer, Quinn. He was the other guy in these pictures. And Quinn's pretty awesome. He brings all kinds of drums. And so he's drumming, and we're guiding you. Then we stop, and we share a frame, which is like you share something that brought you to presence, something you enjoyed during the class. And then I shut off all the lights, and I uplight it, and we play 5 songs. So that's our version of Shavasana. Since you already all warmed up, now we throw on music and you just get to dance. So it's kind of 3 different dance things. Wow. That's it. It's an hour and a half, and we love it. So we'll keep doing it. We do a suggested donation of $15, but it's free, so if you have friends,